Manchester United 2, Villarreal 1. Cristiano Ronaldo with a last-minute winner for Manchester United. We'll get into the fact that maybe, it did mask what was an overall rather terrible performance for Manchester United. But what are you feeling right now, Alex? We've won the game.
Absolutely. We needed that. We needed the lift. We needed all that. And also, this whole thing of what we've signed Cristiano Ronaldo for, that was it there.
Yeah.
That's why he's in the team. That's why we've got the likes of, Cavani in there, who's up there for the headers. Jesse Lingard even coming in, who's you've known can produce things, and just that extra little bit of just getting that toe to it. That's what you needed. You needed those players in there, and you needed someone in the last kick of the game, 95th minute, to just put the right finish on it. It wasn't a perfect finish, wasn't a perfect goal, but that last bit, Cavani, they're showing the goal here on BT Sport. Yeah. Cavani with winning it. Fred with a speculative cross, but Ronaldo, good header. Lingard does well, and you've got one chance, last kick of the game. You need someone to do it, and Ronaldo's the best in the world at doing it.
Yep.
That's what you've signed him for. This
Pedigree.
is the buzz. This is what United needed. For as much as you can compare this performance and say how poor it was, Villarreal, very similar to how they played in the Europa League final and all that kind of stuff. Well organised, got a decent goal. They attacked our weaknesses.
Yeah.
But we couldn't break them down. We couldn't get that goal. We couldn't get that winner.
Yeah.
You either play like Cristiano Ronaldo in there, you get that winner, and that's what's happened tonight. And that's I'm absolutely buzzing. Ready for again. You now need United to kick on. Now that's the next thing.
Yeah.
You need to go right. We didn't play well. Let's take this energy, take the performance, and go on and win at the weekend.
Yeah. Let's have a look at the group stage, the group so far.
Yeah.
Number 1, Atlanta on 4, Young Boys on 3, United also on 3, same goal difference as Young Boys. Presumably we're behind them on the head-to-head.
Yeah.
And then Villarreal on 1 point. Now, I want to get into the fact of the overall performance. But, like you said then, having Cristiano Ronaldo in your team, and the reason you bring him in, sorry for the telly flickering in the background a little bit, the reason you bring him in is because of that pedigree.
Yeah.
That is what sums him up. If you had to sum Ronaldo up in a word, for me, it is consistency or pedigree.
Yeah.
He's someone that, he does this. He's been doing this for 786 other goals.
Yeah.
He does this. He turns up at the biggest occasion. He turns up in the last minute. He turns up when the team's not playing very well. Sometimes he bails you out. Sometimes he does this, whatever. It wasn't the best goal of all time, like you said, but he's in the right place at the right time. And what you want, you have these players in history who, when the ball falls to them, when the last seconds are on the line, I know this isn't the biggest game, but when you're looking at the context around the manager at the moment, around the team at the moment, this was a huge game for Manchester United. There are few players to ever play football that you want that ball to land to at the back post in the 95th minute to potentially, maybe not save Ollie's job because I don't think we're at that point yet, but help take some of that pressure off, alleviate some of that pressure. He is one of the players you want, and that's why you sign him. And you have to not just give credit to him, but give credit to United for signing a player like that because, like I said, he's top 1 or 2 in history in terms of that sort of thing. So phenomenal by Cristiano Ronaldo. Not the best goal of all time, but just the importance in stepping up and tight angle and you get the ball in. Now, with all that being said, and let me read a couple of super chats, we will get into the performance because we can't go, however long this review lasts without talking about that. Jed, Sithor, my serotonin levels are probably through the roof right now. Football, bloody hell. Shreyash has said, our fan base is gone. Yes, it masked a bad game, but come on, shut up and celebrate. Sort your priorities out. If there's anyone who's watching this who isn't happy United have won, I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you.
If anyone's watching this going, this isn't, United don't do this, go and watch back Fergie's last year's. Go and watch back loads of Sir Alex Ferguson's games at Man United. That's what it's all about. You didn't play the best. And yes, this is probably happening a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yes, United aren't quite performing to the levels they should do. But there's something about this United team this year that's got that we're going to score that last minute winner.
Yeah.
There's something about it this year. If Bruno scores that penalty at the weekend, there's something about we're going to get these chances towards the end of the game. We've got the players to do it. I think there's something about this team. It's not quality. It's not. No. In midfield, I've said to you, the one issue still, we are poor in midfield, and we've tried something different tonight. It's been And for everyone saying he's got it wrong, it's what everyone was crying out for. Play McTominay in the 6 because he's capable of doing it, and Pogba and Bruno. Yeah. It was shit tonight.
Yeah,
it was really poor. We looked disjointed. Now, whether that was the fullbacks as well, it's what people have been crying out for. It just really didn't work.
No.
Don't be mad when it's Fred and McTominay at the weekend, because it will be, because that's what the balance is. That's what works. But we've got that. We're going to score a goal in us again. And that's what, for as much as everyone says, what does Ollie bring to this team? What has Ollie brought to this team? He's not brought tactics. It's individual brilliance. It's with all vibes and all this kind of stuff. The one thing it's brought is you've got that bit of hope again. You've got that bit of, we're going to get that goal. We've got the players. He's signed.
We'll get another chance.
He's signed players that can give us that last chance. Bruno's one of them players that if the ball falls to him, he's going to score. Ronaldo, Cavani was the one working his bollocks off, winning that ball back and getting it back into it. He's signed those kind of players. He wants those kind of personalities, and that's what this United team brings. It doesn't bring quality. Everyone that says it's not good, it's not. You're right. You are right. But the one thing it's got now is we've got that bit of momentum. We've got that bit of, we're going to score a goal.
Yeah, you have that feeling. Alpha Omega says our entire back four is MIA and people blame Ole. Footballogia. Ronaldo fixed my day, got a speeding ticket on the way home from work. I was upset, and now I see Ronaldo's winner. Hate to be that guy, but did we paper over some massive cracks? We'll get into that then. Let's talk about that, because United's performances in the last 4 out of the last 5 games, or 5 out of the last 6 games now, have been shocking. And I was saying during the watch-along, to the point where it's arguably some of the performances tonight, the amount of chances Villarreal had, just how porous that midfield was. The ball just went through it like it wasn't there. You sort of think, you almost forget you're allowed bad form.
Yep.
What can't happen is for this to be how we play for the rest of the season, because that won't, we won't get a 95th minute winner every time. It was almost sort of freakish how bad we've been for this last month. It's like Ronaldo comes in, there's this huge sort of, the saviour's here. Yeah. And then you go, well, that's the League One then. That's us getting out of the Champions League group. We don't even have to try now. We don't even have to be disciplined. We don't have to track our man. We don't have to run back. We don't have to be tired. We don't have to feel knackered after a game. We don't have to sprint after him because, well, we've got a good team now, so there's the league title. It's almost as though we've taken our eye off the ball a little bit. And some of these performances, especially for the first 50 minutes or so today, was so lackadaisical, so just sort of like incompetent. The defending, people getting skinned over and over and over and over again. People not tracking back, people just diving into tackles. I was saying before, it's almost as though the accepted wisdom on how to tackle isn't, how it used to be. Square your man up. If he gives you a bit of space, you stick a leg out. Otherwise, you put your arm across him, you try and win the ball, you shut down the space, and you get a tackle in. Now what we do is, when a ball's coming, you stand square on, which is completely the wrong thing to do because you can't turn, and you just run at him and stick a leg out. That's not a good way to tackle. It's like everyone in the team does it. Delo was doing it. He didn't do it tonight. He did well for the goal, but Fred has a tendency to do that. Matic does it. Shaw does it. Tellers was doing it. Pogba does it. It's like that's just a really poor trait that I don't know where that's come from. But these sorts of games bring momentum. And this sort of last-minute winner, when we know we played bad, every one of those players knows we were shit tonight, and we should have lost by all rights. We were the worst team. If that can bring us some momentum, that can push us forward, then who knows what could happen. Because like we said earlier in the watch-along, let's not forget, Manchester City last season had a shocking start to the league. United were top in January. But what you have to be capable of doing to win the big trophies, to win the leagues, the Champions Leagues, you have to be able to win 6, 8, 10, 20 games in a row. Yeah. And if you can put those runs together at any time, generally speaking, you've got a chance of winning something. And that's what we need to be able to do. But we can't have more performances like this.
I mean, we've got super chats and you're going to go through them in a minute.
I will do.
The one thing I still don't think Ollie's figured out the formation in terms of midfield. I think that he's kind of gone to start this, right, Bruno has to start, Pogba has to start, Ronaldo has to start, Mason was flying at the start of the season. They have to start. Yeah. Those 4 have to start. Sancho's not quite fit yet. He's not been playing well. He's probably going to be on the bench. Let's figure it out from there. And it's ended up being Fred McTominay. I still think there's going to need to be a change in how we set up and how we fit these players in, because the likes of Rashford are going to come back, the Cavani's going to come back. And like you said there, City were disjointed for a lot of the start of last season, but then they figured it out and they got going.
Yeah.
And I think that's what United need to do. But at the time being, let's just if we can keep getting points, we're still in there in the league. We're not miles. We've not lost.
We're level on points with City and Chelsea.
Yes,
in the
with this, they've had a tougher start. I completely agree.
Yeah.
We need to figure it out. And the other thing is to jump on. I think that tonight was a mistake from Ollie for not maybe going more defensive midfield, knowing how poor our fullbacks are defensively. I think if he'd have gone Freddie McTominay tonight, that might have kind of slowed things down a little bit. But I think he wanted again to try something new. He's trying things in midfield, and people saying he's not. The West Ham game last week, he tried Matic and Donny in there.
Yeah.
It didn't work. He's tried different things. He's tried Fred McTominay. He's tried Matic in there alongside players. I still think he's figuring it out. He's still waiting for everyone to get back fit. I think Rashford comes in and changes things a bit. We mentioned in the watch along, his defensive work rate definitely helps. He's just trying to figure it out. On tonight, it wasn't the best performance, but at the end of the day, this is the thing, people saying we can't rely on individual brilliance. Well, you can when you've got those. When you can get all those players on the pitch, you can do it.
I almost want to stop addressing that argument. This individual brilliance thing, like, it's a problem to have good players that can do things that bad players can't. That's why you buy good players.
Yeah.
Because they are capable of the brilliance that shit players are not capable of.
Yeah.
What's the point in buying good players if every time they do something good, which is what defines a good player, you get slagged off? You get told that it's not a good thing that you've got good players. It's actually a bad thing, because unless you win the league with fat lads from down the road who are, 60-year-old fat lads, unless you win the league with them, it's the players that won it, not the manager. Yeah. And yet when you lose, it's the manager's fault. How can this team that's so full of individual brilliance still get the manager sacked? And yet it's his fault when they score. We've got a few more super chats. Let's get through a couple of these because there's some good points. My amateur said, squeaky bum time this year it was. Edvin says, after Ollie gets saved yet again, okay, after we won a game, full-time Devils, let's keep Solskjaer, Ollie's Fergie 2.0. We haven't said Ollie's Fergie 2.0, and also,
no,
we won a game. It's an odd thing that you consider United winning football matches as Ollie being saved. Surely you want United to win football matches. Surely, as a fan of Manchester United, when we win, you enjoy that. Surely that's what you like about watching football. So let's not frame it as when we win, it's someone who I hate more than you actually like Man United. Seemingly, you dislike Ole Gunnar Solskjaer more than you like United winning. I think that's a problem. I think that's a real problem.
I think that, I mentioned Sir Alex there in terms of how many wins we got. Look back at all the Premier League champions. Look at the kind of wins that they got in. Liverpool when they won the Champions League, got through on the last kick in the group game. They had a magnificent save by Alisson that got them through. That ended up they won the Champions League. Yeah. Liverpool when they won the league, that goal against Everton where Pickford bounces off the bar. Mm-hmm. There's no tactics involved in spamming crosses in the last minute of the game. But you need those moments. It's not all pretty and not all thing. Now, this is not defending him saying it's fantastic football at the minute. No. Because it's a bit shit. Yeah. And he needs to figure it out. Yeah. But the one thing he's brought back in, and this is the whole thing that I think that Mourinho didn't get, Van Gaal didn't get, Moyes didn't get, is you've got that feeling of we can still score a goal there, even when we're shit. Yeah. And we've done that this season so far. We have.
Max K with a good point. The team is just in a rut right now. As fans, we support them through it. That's what being a fan is. The Ollie outlets, which I've not heard, are fuming we won. Yeah, I can't believe that. And I think that's something that's worth mentioning. Teams go through bad form where it's sort of inexplicable as to why what's happening is happening. You remember back to last season when I think we went on a run after the Arsenal game at home. In the league, we went 18 wins, 9 draws, 1 loss, something like that. And that's a sensational run of form. Maybe a couple too many draws in there for real title winning form, but I think it put us top of the league, that run. Mm-hmm. That you wouldn't have gone back then and said, no tactics. No tactics. You don't go on the best unbeaten away from home record in the history of top flight football with no tactics, just vibing it. You don't do that. And obviously, sometimes bad form costs you places in trophies, costs you a place in the Carabao Cup, could have cost us a place in the Champions League if we'd have lost tonight. But teams have bad form, and you don't just sack the manager because of one run of bad form at the start of a season. Ayub says, not the best performance again, but great result. It was a great result. This is Villarreal's first defeat of the season. Ole subs having an impact yet again. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Thank God for Ronaldo, says Matthew Cook. Tyler Hale, Sancho was great. Dave and his meat beaters kept in the game today. I assume that means hands. Ole subs made the difference. It wasn't pretty, but it's a huge 3 points. Matthew Cook, thank you very much for your super chat, mate. And get a pint in at some stage. We will do. Cheers for that. Vicky says, I feel really sorry for Donny. He deserves better. Right. Ollie waits too late to change and is too stubborn. Thank you for bringing that up, actually, because you've brought me right onto a point I would like to mention there. Who said that? Ollie, what's he said? Ollie waits too late to change things and is too stubborn. Well, first of all, Fred put the cross in. Jesse Lingard got the assist today. That's 2 subs that set up and assisted the goals, respectively. So you can't say he waited too late. We won the game, and it was his subs that did it. And for anyone who hasn't seen, this is a Premier League, so not the Champions League, but it gives you a good indication of the manager as a whole. Premier League subs contributions for teams last season. This is the amount of goals and assists that subs have made for their respective teams since coming on. Manchester United last season were top of the table in terms of goals and assists scored by their substitutes. We had double the next best team in terms of goals made and scored by substitutes last season. That isn't a manager that is shit at making subs. Maybe they're slightly later than you would want, but they are doing more than everyone else in the league.
Yeah, but
so that is not an argument.
What you're not doing there, Joe, you're not saying they're bringing on individual brilliance. And that
Sorry, I forgot. He's bringing on individual brilliance.
That's what it is.
Manchester United subs score and assist more than anyone else is in the Premier League. That is a fact.
Yeah, but also that's because he's making so many mistakes in his starting 11.
Of course. So that's because he's got all the best players on the bench because he starts shit. So that isn't true. Fair enough. Feel sorry for Donny if you want to. The thing of Ollie bringing his subs on too late is factually false. If you think the benefit of bringing subs on is to score an assist, which generally they are, especially as Man United, that attacking wise, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the best substitution manager in the league last season. AK says, I like how Joe speaks my mind. Interesting. Ole's tactics got us a second last season, but he needs to get our tactics, midfield, and attacking chemistry sorted soon. Yes, we're going through a bad run of form. There's no denying that. Hopefully, something like this can be the catalyst to turn that around. Hazim Amrin says it's better to be in bad form early season and kick on going forward. The team is morphing itself. Ollie's working on it. Trust the process. To hell with plastic fans. And we've got a new member as well, Evi RZK. Thank you very much. Let's talk about, just quickly, the state of the Champions League as a whole, because it's been quite the turbulent start. Man City on 3 points. They lost last night to PSG. RB Leipzig last in their group with Club Brugge in second. Yep. The Liverpool group is as you'd expect. Inter Milan on 1 point after 2 games. The champions
Sheriff,
of Italy.
top of the league.
Real Madrid on 3 and Sheriff top of the league, who beat Real Madrid away last night. Barcelona at the bottom of their group, 2 games, 0 points. United now second, equal on points with Young Boys. The Champions League groups as a whole are Chelsea losing tonight as well, by the way. That's their second loss in a row. The Champions League groups as a whole are bonkers at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, you say that. I think we all, the only one really with the Madrid one is absolutely bonkers. That Sheriff team, unbelievable what they're doing. The goals they scored last night. Madrid are in a bit of trouble. Barca being bottom of their group, I think we kind of said at the start.
Yeah, but I know it's Barca.
They're really shit, aren't they?
I know they are, but they're still...
They've got Luke de Jong starting for them.
But surely they're not worse than Dynamo Kiev.
They've got Luke de Jong starting for them. He couldn't play for Newcastle. Like, he was shit for Newcastle. Yeah. Yes.
That's funny, isn't it?
He was shit for Newcastle.
10 years ago.
He's now starting for Barcelona.
Yep.
They are poo.
Yeah, they are.
Really bad.
Rune Bugan says, tactical masterclass from Ole. I won't necessarily go that far. But you know, the subs were brilliant. Composed Matic in, that's a good point. And that's the second time he's made the difference as well now. Energetic Cavani, true. Lingard with momentum in. Matic, match decisive decisions.
We talked a bit about this in the watch along. The pressing bit of United is worrying me a bit. And I seen...
Me too. This is a good point.
One of my favourite Twitter accounts, go and check out United Arena, did a really good thing about this. He talks about Fred McTominay and how good they are at doing the job they are.
Yeah.
But the reason they have to be there is because the pressing is all over the place.
Yeah.
And And the one thing you saw tonight was that you kind of had this kind of mid-press from United. You didn't have them doing what Liverpool do, which is press them from the front and really make mistakes. You didn't have a Mourinho kind of, as long as the ball's in their half, I don't care, I'm going to stand back here. It was kind of in between. And I feel that United need to go back a little bit. Towards the end of the game there, you had Cavani, Lingard, Ronaldo doing it, pressing the goalkeeper, pressing everyone, really being energetic and forcing the mistakes. That's where the goal came from.
Well, just quickly, Cavani, KM saying, Cavani sprinting 50 yards to keep the ball alive is the spirit we need.
All that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel that that's the thing that Ollie needs to work out. Look, for as much as the passing and the quality, in midfield, we're going to struggle with this season. I feel that the one thing that I think United look a bit all over the place with is how we press and how we go about things. Are we going to be that Liverpool-esque team that is push from the front, press from the front? Is Ronaldo going to be that man? I do think when you've got Rashford back in the team, you've got Lingard there, I think you're going to see more of that. You're not going to see it from Martial. Bruno will do that job. Ronaldo kind of, even last season, you've seen Bruno running past Martial and doing that. I don't think Ollie minds that. But I think it has to be everyone together. That's the one thing he's got to figure out. Because at the minute, it's a bit half-arsed. And I think that you saw that, especially when you've got a poor midfield, is what we're going to have all season. Forget whether you play Matic in there, Donny van der Beek, Paul Pogba. You're going to have a poor defensive-minded midfield in that aspect of it. You can have better players, but you're going to have poor players in terms of defensive aspect. The one thing that you can have in there is energy and pressing. I think that's where I'm hoping Ollie kind of figures it out. I think that's why Sancho maybe not started a lot of the games. I don't think he's up to scratch in terms of doing that.
Probably not got the fitness to do that.
That's the thing. He's not got the fitness to do that yet.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the season or towards the middle of the season, I think hopefully we see more of that. And as someone that is, I said, we've gone about Ollie this and Ollie that. That's the one thing for me he needs to sort out. And that's probably one of the things I'm most worried about. It's not about the passes that we're giving away because, look, players are going to do that, and the players we've got aren't the best in midfield. They're going to give the ball away, but we need to figure out what we're doing in there. Yeah,
we do. Mikuro Blonde with the super chat. Is Lingard a super sub a la Ole? Has he finally found a role with us? I mean, I don't think he's never going to have the finishing ability that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer had, but if he can come on and affect games like he has done multiple times this season, great. Josh says, anyone Ole out is a clown. People will say he did nothing right. The bloke played all-out attack at the end of the game. If that's not United, I don't know what is. It was a poor game.
I'm sick of that phrase of the Ole out thing. It's like I'm not Ollie in or Ollie out. I'm like, United need to be better. They're no good at the minute. They're not as good. You can't respect the job that Ollie's done for the past 3 years, then you're not seeing what we came into. Yeah. And to sack him in October, even if there's a manager sat there, isn't the right decision to do. Because it'll be a short-term fix. You get Conte and we'll play 3 at the back, be boring as fuck. We might win the league. In 2 years' time, we'll fuck off and we'll be shit again. Yeah. That doesn't fix things. We've tried that with Van Gaal. We've tried that with Mourinho.
Even with Moyes.
We
got someone in like, whatever happened to the phrase, whether it's Ole or not, back the manager.
Just back him.
Whatever happened to that? Like, let him see what he's doing. We're trying to see whether Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is good enough to win titles with Manchester United. That's what we're trying to see here. We've gone from 3rd to 2nd, 6th to 3rd to 2nd. We've gone from semi-finals to finals. Things are moving in the right direction. No. Yes, it would be great if we'd won a trophy already, and we should have done. But to say, like you said, in October, let's get rid of our manager. And like you said, I'm sick to fucking death of this binary, Ole in, Ole out. Just the sloganism of it. The sort of modern Twitter fucking hashtag of it. I hate it. I hate that it has to be you're all in or you're fuck off. What is that? There's no grey area. There's no room for criticism. Like before I was criticising Ole, I was saying this isn't good enough. And then all of a sudden people in the comments, finally Joe coming round to our way of thinking. No, you're allowed to criticise someone without wanting them sacked. Like, it's not a case of, I think Ole in, so everything he does is brilliant. Or, I think Ole out, so even when we win, I'm not going to celebrate. There's so much grey area, and just because you want to back a manager or you think he's doing a good job, doesn't mean you can't criticise him.
And I think
but to boil it all down, to this binary hashtag of a fucking thought that is meant to be people's overall sort of emotions towards a football club is so narrow and so thick.
And what United need to do next is that, whether Ole's the man or not, is it needs to be right. We've signed X, Y, and Z. We've signed these players. who's the manager that comes in and goes, here's our fucking presentation on the fucking telly here,
Yeah.
how I'm going to use your players you've got with 3 signings that are going to cost me 100 million quid that take me to the next level. And that's how United need to look at it. That's what, when Pep came into City, that's how it was planned out. It got planned for 3 years that was going to happen. They signed the players, the De Bruynes and Sterlings and Fernandinhos were all building up to Pep Guardiola coming in. And then he went, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's my team.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, if someone comes in and goes, right, the board have decided this is the progression we want to do, and in the summer you're going to come in, we're going to give you these 3 players because that fits your system and it's perfect. It comes and it works for the next 10 years, great. But doing it in October and getting some manager who's left every single job he's been to in an absolute
in a cloud of hell.
Or the lad that's won the Champions League with one of the best teams of all time, and just because you fix it, that's not the way to do it. I'm not saying Ollie is the man for the job. I think every single person that leaves Old Trafford today isn't going, well, because Ronaldo scored in the 95th minute, he must be. That's not the case. But don't just, like you said, don't just have it down to this hashtag of Ollie in or Ollie out. Have a bit of thought about it. In October isn't the time, especially when we're 1 point off the top of the league. We're 1 point off the top of our Champions League group. The only cup we've been knocked out of, no one would have been happy if we'd have fucking won it anyway. No. Just chill out a bit. It's not that bad. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. Tommy McCartney says, I'm not Ollie out, but let's relax, lads. This isn't really the performance to boast how good he is. Deserves credit for the subs making a difference, which he does, but we were a minute away from being last in the group. Well, let's talk about being a minute away from things, because if you want to look at it as we were a minute away, and I haven't made this argument the other way because I don't think it's fair to say we could have done this, we could have done that. But if you want to talk about a minute away, if we'd have scored that goal at the weekend with a last-minute penalty, we wouldn't have lost that game. If Jesse Lingard hadn't have given the ball away against Young Boys, we wouldn't have lost that game. So if you want to look at a minute away, if it had gone the other way, we could be a point higher up in the league, top of the league essentially, and we could have got an extra point in this group. Like, you can't just say that because things happen in last minutes of games. The last minute is just as important as the 60th minute or the 4th minute or the 3rd minute. Minutes in games all matter, and because we scored a goal, we've got 3 points when we wouldn't have done. We haven't sat here and said, what a performance. No. We were shocking tonight. But you have to look at it as what's happened. Does it increase our chance of getting out of the group? And if so, like you said, when Liverpool scraped out of that Champions League group by the skin of their teeth, having not performed well at all, and went on to win it, once you're out of the group, it doesn't matter. It's like your GCSEs. Once you've left school or once you've gone to uni, no one's asking what your GCSEs were anymore. No. But at the time, it's all that matters. It's a means to an end. Getting out of this group is a means to an end. You get there, and then you're in the knockouts, and the groups don't even matter anymore. So whilst I'm not saying it was a brilliant performance, it really wasn't. You can't say we were a minute away from not winning, because
if you look at it
all
as well,
counts.
You look at the importance of those first 2 games in the Champions League are important, but you look at this review that probably me and if it was you and McCullough did last time, 6 points into it last year when we beaten PSG and then battered Leipzig 5-0. Everyone was going, we're going to win the fucking lot. And then it all went wrong. Yeah. So you kind of compare that. It's not just these first 2 games that are going to matter. It's not just these first 2 performances. No. People were saying that, like you mentioned City. City were out of it this time last year in the league. There's a graphic that I think BT Sport put out, who's going to win the league this year. It was Liverpool, Southampton, Tottenham and Wolves, I think, were the 4 teams they used as examples of who going to win the league. None of them finished in the top 6 in the end. Yeah. Because you don't know what's going to happen in the first 10 games of a season.
Yeah, that's why it's so rash and silly to be talking about sacking manager this early. Couple more super chats. Just Trouble says, Ollie out comes from glory hunters who are so used to the Ferguson years of constant winning. Tough times like this show who the real supporters are. I'm not even sure that's the case. And I think there's definitely some of that. I'm not disagreeing with you. But I think a lot of it comes from even younger fans who maybe never even saw the Fergie years, or who have no real memory of the Fergie years, who don't remember in 2001 or 2002 when things weren't looking good. And it looks like, and he said he was going to retire. Don't remember 2005 when Jose came in and win the league back to back, and everyone thought Fergie was a dinosaur. Don't remember the difficult times that we used to have amongst obviously an unprecedented plethora of brilliance. It wasn't just green lights from 1993 to 2013.
Do you know what's funny as well? The team, I seen a clip today. I think some account I follow on Instagram shared a picture from the FA Cup final of the penalty takers at United. Yeah. And it was Giggs, Scholes, Keane, Ronaldo as an 18-year-old, Rooney and Van Nistelrooy.
2004.
2004. And you showed that, and that little
2005,
clip
sorry.
of those penalty takers or them waiting for the penalty
Yeah.
makes it look like that was an amazing squad, an amazing team. This was the peak of it.
Yeah.
And literally the caption is how good United were then.
Yeah.
The rest of we went through who started in midfield for when Rooney started that first game in Fenerbahce.
Game,
It was David Bellion,
Yeah.
Jemba, I think
Quinton
it was
Fortune?
Cleberson and Quinton Fortune.
Something like
That 2003-4 team was really poor.
Yeah.
Had superstars all through it. A little bit like in kind of how now is with you took Varane coming in like the Rio, but then next to him you're like there was Laurent Blanc and Sylvester and Heinze that were playing, but really not good enough for United.
Yeah.
Those little clips do it. And the other thing that people look at about these managers and stuff, United needs standards. United have won out of the 18 league titles, the post-war titles, the 15
20.
that we won. Yeah, we've won 20 titles. 15 that we've won after the war were won by 2 managers.
Yeah.
The whole point of Manchester United is that there is a bit of romance that one man can take it and do it for a long period of time and do it. And that is the history of it all. And a lot of the time, it's done by having youth players in the squad. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might not be that man, but the whole point of Manchester United is you need to try and find that again. We've done it in between those managers. You look at the history from after Matt Busby and all the managers and the shite that we had through. They won cups and there was times when we looked all right. It just wasn't the same. And then you look after the post-Fergie era and all the managers we've had in. There was times when the Mourinho was great under Van Gaal, we won the FA Cup and all that. But we should always be searching for the next one. And now that might not be Ole. I'm not saying that Ole's that man. But the whole point of a Manchester United is that that's what's been successful. Yeah. That's the whole point of the club. That's the whole romance
ethos,
behind
the love,
it.
The history of the club is that.
Like, we need to be looking for that. Now, I'm not saying that Ole's that man, but we need to be looking for that.
Yeah.
And the names that are getting banded around aren't that.
No.
So just like calm down a little bit. This will all figure itself out.
Yeah.
And just enjoy a 2-1 win.
Yes.
We scored in the 95th
Enjoy a 2-1
minute.
win. Exactly. Mood swing game, a couple super chats. Imagine these absolute football Karens in the last 10 minutes of the 99 final treble win. What they'd be Alex Ferguson out if that chat existed at that time. They'd have turned the telly off. They'd have sacked him already. The whole hypermanic, the whole he has to win the league this season thing annoys me. There are still great teams around us. I've said this consistently.
Yeah.
There are very good teams in the Premier League at the minute. It's by far the best team in Europe. By far the best league in Europe. If we put a challenge together and we come a little bit short, only one team can win the league.
Yep.
Chelsea should win it because they're reigning European champions. City should win it because they've won 4 out of the last 5 or 3 out of the last 4 Premier Leagues. Liverpool should win it because they've got the best team in Premier League history. And then there's United, who have pieced together a team of very good players with a manager that's never won the league, and they should win it. And only one of them can win it, and the other 3 shouldn't be sacking the managers if you put up a really good fight. Mike Small in Halloween H2... What? Hargreaves looks like he woke up in a bin. Interesting. Right.
It turned off, but yeah.
That's going to be all from us tonight. Apparently, Coleman's been sacked. That's according to Sheffield. I'm not sure if that's true. Manchester United 2, Villarreal 1. It was scrappy. It was shocking. It was awful. It was not the performance we wanted, but it was the result we wanted. And hopefully, it can bring us some momentum going forward.
For the weekend now.
I'm absolutely buzzing for the weekend. Thank you to everyone for joining us. What a game, eh? Ronaldo wins it in the last minute for Manchester United. Not bad. We'll see you in a bit.